Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Gallant. I am a student here at BCC. This is my fiancée, Christina Gillam. She's joining our class also today. I'm here to speak to you about my near-death experience and some of the factors that played up to that point, up to my experience, and some of the changes it's left me with in my train of thought post-accident. So what I'd actually like you guys to do is, if everybody take out one piece of paper, and I just want you to jot a couple things down real quick. You're not going to be asked to share this, or anybody. This is for your own eyes only. So it's just a little insightful thing you're going to see later on in the classroom. What I'd like you to do is put down 1, 2, 3, just like I've done here, and put 3 of the most things that you want out of life. Be truthful with yourself. Like I said, nobody's going to look at this paper but yourself. So without further ado, please just jot down 3 things that you want out of life. As you guys are doing that, I will make my list pre-accident. Okay, thank you. Like I said, my name is Joseph Gallant. I'm 35 years old. I'm currently a student here. I'm in the honor program here. I just started this semester, which has been a blessing. So I was born and raised in New Bedford. I'm gonna give a little background on myself, lead you up to my experience, and then you'll be able to understand some of my afterthoughts during my post-accident time. Please forgive me, I'm a little nervous. So this is the first time I've actually addressed this in a classroom setting, so it is a little nerve-wracking. If anybody, it's not for the faintest of heart, so if there is any tough spots in my story, I don't mind if anybody has to, excuse themselves or anything like that. Again, one last time. Joseph Gallant. I was born and raised in New Bedford. I'm 35 years old. I'm a father of 2. I grew up in every luxurious spot in New Bedford you could think of, from South First Street to Presidential, Brickenwood Heights. A lot of places up and down the West End. I grew up in a split home. My mom and dad separated from each other when I was 2 years old, so I never known them to be together. So all throughout my childhood, it was moving in from either my mom's house or my dad's house, being a young kid, having to make a decision whether to ask what parent to go live with, and discussing it with the other parent. In school, I was an underachiever. I was a very smart child who did 0 homework, so all my tests would be A's, and because of my 0 homework, I'd barely pass with like D's and actually a lot of F's. I grew up, like I said, around here, hanging around all these bad neighborhoods and whatnot, and I had a young interest in substance abuse. When I was 11 years old, I was actually introduced to marijuana and drinking and everything like that. So I was on a young path to destruction. It didn't get any better going to high school. I actually got kicked out of vocational Voc Tech freshman year due to lack of interest. My grades were bad, and that wasn't acceptable. And I got transferred into New Bedford High. Sophomore year, I was transferred into New Bedford High, where I actually developed an interest in ROTC, and started to learn a little bit about a potential military career. Throughout high school, my grades remained the same, still lack of work, smart kid, passed by the skin of my teeth. When I say the skin of my teeth, I did not walk across the stadium to get my diploma. Instead, I received it in the mail by taking summer school classes, 2 summer school classes, to receive my diploma 8 weeks before I left for my military boot camp. So after I got my diploma in the mail, about eight weeks later, I went into the United States Marine Corps. I was very successful in the Marine Corps. I made the rank of Sergeant E5 in 4 years, and a lot of people, it takes about 10 years to make that. My profession was explosives. I was a combat engineer. And like I said, I did very well in it, which is, as I was trying to put this class together, I was thinking about me taking this class. I took this class, like Professor Cole said, last semester. And one of the things that really touched me was coping with life and death. Now, the coping with life, you know, when I first seen the title and the curriculum and everything, immediately I automatically thought coping with life was coping with like stressful situations, depression, death, all this stuff, all this bad stuff. And just recently, I got an insightful moment where my problem with coping with life was dealing with the success that was given to me at a very young age. So I go back to what my list was, my motivations before, you know, growing up as a teen in New Bedford and stuff like that. Number one is I just wanted to get out of New Bedford. The Marine Corps I decided was my easiest ticket out because I didn't want to go to college, because I didn't like doing homework. So I decided to travel. I signed up for the Marine Corps. I did 4 years in the Marine Corps, like I said. During this time, I started a family. I married my high school sweetheart at the time. We had 2 children. Very turbulent relationship. My military occupation had me in what we would call in the field. I was out and training a lot. So I would go out to the field. I would train for about a month. I would come home for a week or 2 and then back out to the field for a month or 2. And this went on for the last 2.5 to 3 years I was in the Marine Corps. During this time, my children was about 1 and 3, so they didn't see too much of their father. I didn't see too much of my family. And it quickly became almost an accessory. I hate to say it like that, but it was almost an accessory for me at the time, where it was just me having a family and not actually putting any actions or feelings or understanding into it at all. Sorry. So I made the rank of sergeant. Everything looked good on the outside. I was, you know, I was professional. You know, I had a growing drinking problem by this time. And, but everything looked good on the outside. I was making good money. I was a Marine. My family looked good. Everything. We had the car. We had the dream. We were living in California. Everything was well. So it seemed. Upon my honorable discharge from the Marine Corps, I came home to New Bedford, Massachusetts, where I bought a house in the West End because I actually love this place, believe it or not. I love the idea of New Bedford. I love the melting pot. I love like everything I've learned as a kid growing up in this this subculture. When I came home, I became a vice president for my father's recycling company, which also added into my realms of success at the time. I was making a lot of money for a 21-year-old kid that just came home from the Marine Corps. I bought my first house. Now I have 2 children, 2 cars, a family, and a very successful job. Coping with life. So at the time, I was a young kid who couldn't cope with the idea of success. And I bring this point out because it's, okay, so it's success. There's levels of success. I wasn't a president. I wasn't the president. I wasn't a college scholar. I was successful within my family, within my society, within the people who knew me, as in I was the first person who went into the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was a big thing when I came home. Everybody was proud of me. I bought a house at a young age. I grew up, when I skipped that part of it, I apologize, I grew up in a house with 10 children. We all lived under in one apartment. You know, it'd be 4 or 5 boys to the room. My sister, she would have a room by herself. So it'd be a lot of, you know. So me buying my first house and everything was kind of a step up from where I was coming from. So that was my success. So even though it may be a small success for, say, okay, Michael Jordan, looking back at it like, okay, this kid bought a house. But for me, it was something because of where I came from. It was showing a step in the right direction. So being a young, immature kid, getting a lot of money thrown at me, I started putting this money into other things such as drugs. And, you know, my motivation wasn't to reinvest into my family. My motivation wasn't to reinvest into my home. My motivation was to give the paycheck that would provide all this for my family to my family and keep the rest of my money for myself. And I was making probably a couple grand cash a week. A lot of wasted stuff. So, again, I'm vice president in this company. This goes on for about 2 years. It's a very successful company. It's an appliance company. We've had accounts like as big as Sears. I took care of all the Sears in New England. all appliance stores up and down the east coast of New England into Connecticut. And, you know, we had about 6 trucks, about 200 trailers. For a small company, it was very successful. In this company, yes, ma'am?
The company that you're talking about, is it the motorcycle company? Or?
Appliance. It's appliances, yes, ma'am. So, again, and that's something else. If anybody has a question or anything, just throw your hands up, because unfortunately, like, if I try to go back to something, I might not even remember what I said. So I might look at you like I said that. Yes. So about 2 years into running this company, I regained my talented tongue. I'm actually pretty gifted when it comes to salesmanship and stuff like that. My manipulations, it stemmed a lot from the old me, that it was easy. I found it recreational. I spent probably 80 hours a week at work. I lived for work and for the weekend, to go out to clubs, go out to bars. I had a huge, my desire was for the nightlife. I love being around clubs. I had ideas that I've gained throughout the country. I did a lot of traveling in the Marine Corps. I've been to Japan, Egypt, California, and I used to collect ideas from all these little clubs that I went to. And my ultimate dream was to come home and put together the best club in the world. Like, that was, you know, the reason why I was born. I say that kind of facetiously now. So 2 years into it, everything's going well.